If you haven't signed in at the front, please make sure to do so promptly, and then are you ready to mark with clickers? Okay. And then get ready to mark with your clickers real soon. But if you haven't signed in, please come in and sign in at the front and pick up your packets if you haven't. Again, all of you should have a single packet. It should have 2 pieces of legislation on it. It should have a bill and a concurrent resolution. So make sure to pick those up because we'll be going into those in depth today. Awesome. And then please use your clickers to mark your attendance at this meeting. We'll give plenty of time for those of you who are up here. Senator Baker. It's not working. Please remain quiet. We are on the air. All right, everybody, please find your seats. If you haven't signed in, we'll just sign in at the end of the meeting. Up next on our agenda is going to be the approval of the Senate Journal. The Senate Journal from the previous meeting have been made available. Is there any corrections to the Senate Journal? Hearing none, they will pass as given. Up next on our agenda, we have some very special guests here. Please welcome Mr. Andrew Beverly, Mr. Barrington, and Dr. Zhao, who all are with the Texas Tech University Information and Technology Department. Dr. Zhao is a new hire and is getting acquainted with this position, and he's been very willing to work with us, and we're super excited to have him here. Apologies, Mr. Beverly, we're trying to get your slideshow sorted.
So if I could just say a few words. My name is Lane. I joined Texas Tech at the end of September. I'm still learning about Texas Tech. Before I was here, I came from New York. I came from another university in New York City called the New School. I'm looking at you. I'm smiling for a couple of reasons. One is I have 2 boys. They're just
Dr.
like.
Zhao, sorry about that. If you could please stand at the podium.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, sir.
Oh, over here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's not my speech.
No, sir.
I don't have a note at all. So, so I have 2 boys. They are the age just like you. One boy is just graduated from college, and then the other one is getting into college. So I'm looking at you. I'm thinking about my boys who unfortunately are not with me in Lubbock. They are on the East Coast, so I miss them. I miss them a lot. I'm sure your parents miss you too. Second thing is I've been teaching in universities. I'm a faculty in university for 13, 14 years. I'm going to be starting teaching here as well in the comp science. Anybody from comp science? Nobody? Oh, I usually in my lecture hall, I don't use this. I just yell. Anybody can hear me?
Dr. Zhao, you have to understand we are on the air. That's the reasoning for the mic.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
That means I would be very careful because this is recorded. Sorry about that. That's my ignorance, my style. I just where I was talking? I was teaching. Anybody from nobody from comp science? Oh, you went? Okay. Hopefully I can be seeing you. We can be seeing you in the spring. We are here with my colleagues. We are going to be socializing with you on 2 things. Number one is how can we service you better? because you are the very reason we exist at the university. You defines our existence. That's the first topic. Second topic is how can we protect you better? How can we protect you from cybersecurity point of view inside TTU? How can we help you to protect yourself even better outside TTU? We know how serious cybersecurity incidents are, right? People's bank account being stolen. So I just let you know we are here for you. My office is in the administration building in front of the big circle over there. But I tell you, I'm not in my office. And some of people I speak to, Abigail and other people know, I'm in places where the actions are. So, but our team always there for you. So without further delay, I want to pass this on to Jeff.
Hey, good evening. Thank you, guys. I appreciate a few minutes of your time here. My name is Jeff Barrington. I'm the Chief Information Security Officer for Texas Tech University, and I also have a daughter who is a psychology major here right now. So any psych majors? There we go. So anyway, so that's near and dear to my heart. Just a quick note about some of the cybersecurity things, pardon me, that that we're doing to try to help you guys. And it's we do this from the perspective of protecting, Texas Tech University information resources. But what I say also applies to your personal digital citizenship, all of your important information, because the bad guys want it, and they're out there, and they want it. And so just a couple of things real quick. Part of the why is if any of you guys are student workers and you have jobs on campus, you probably will be getting the mandatory cybersecurity training from the state of Texas. We're doing that in March of this year, and then in March of next year, and then in subsequent years we'll do it in October to correspond with Cybersecurity Awareness Month. But the other reason, the bad guys are out there. It's a $9.5 trillion a year industry. So just to kind of put that in perspective, if cybercrime were a country, it would have the third largest gross domestic product of any country in the world, behind only the United States and China. So it keeps growing every year. They're out there. They want anything they can steal from you guys, from any of us, and they don't care who it is. They don't care if you're rich or poor, or you go to school or you don't go to school. They want, if they can take your money or your information, they will do that. Some little things you guys can do to protect yourselves. Have strong passwords. Don't have passwords that are, don't use the same password everywhere. That's an easy way for criminals to get access to your information if they get your password. Keep your phones, your laptops, whatever, keep them up to date. Keep security, patches and up to date and those kinds of things. If you have questions, contact us. Right, we have a lot of knowledge-based articles that you guys can access, but also our IT Help Central folks are here to help you guys. We want to help you all to stay safe. And just a little note for kind of how prolific this is. Have you guys ever heard of phishing? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You get these emails that promise some really, really cool, easy job that pays a lot, and they want you to give them all your personal cell phone number and your personal email address, stuff like that. Those kinds of things are just scams. And so don't, just delete those things. If you have a question about whether they're real or not, send them to IT Help Central. We can take a look at it and say, yeah, it's real, or no, it's a fake. But just in the month of October alone, we got 450,000 phishing emails here at Texas Tech University. So that's how big it is. And it's very prolific. So anyway, that's all I have. If you guys have any questions, I have a minute for that. If not, I'll turn it over to Mr. Beverly.
Jeff, I just want to call it out. One of the things Jeff mentioned is that we're gonna start a campaign to for mandatory cybersecurity training. So if you are a student worker working for the TTU, you would be required to complete
the training. And this is actually the mandatory requirement by the state. But there's a teeth in it. If the training is not completed within the timeline, then the network access would be revoked. But that applies to student and worker. Right? And that helps us all to be more protected. So is that?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. All right. Any questions? Okay, thank you guys very much.
Thanks. Good evening, Senators. I have a couple things just to talk to you about. One is we want your feedback. So I'm Andrew from IT Up Central. As you're probably aware, if you submit an issue or a ticket with us with IT Up Central, at some point you're going to get a survey. That survey is for us, just for kind of how we deal within the Department of IT Up Central, how that interaction was, those kinds of things. What we're doing as the IT division, or for the university, is we are going to work on, we're working on trying to improve our customer satisfaction. This is going to hopefully help us provide some transparency to you, to the student body, to the university faculty, staff, and students. It's also going to provide some accountability. And by doing so, part of that with the transparency and accountability, we're going to release a survey to you all, separate from what you normally get from us, when you close a ticket with us. It's going to be a survey so that it's going to ask one question. I'm going to tell you about that here in just a minute. But we really want to partner with you. We ask that you talk with your friends, those that you work with around campus, things like that. And we ask that you please provide this information. We want to hear from you. We want to know how we're doing. And what this survey is, we're going to start it this month. In fact, it's supposed to be released, I believe, November 13th. It's going to last for a couple of weeks. We're going to have it open for a couple of weeks till the individual study day. And we really would like for you to provide the feedback. It is anonymous, so we're not going to collect any data from you. We're not going to, know what we're not going to ask for the phone numbers and stuff like that the phishing emails are asking you about, okay? It's going to be completely anonymous. And what we're looking for is what's called an NPS, or a Net Promoter Score. We're trying to find the baseline of kind of what you guys are thinking, what you feel about information technology, so we know where we can improve. What can we do? The positive, the negatives, those kinds of things. We're going to compare it to not just higher education, but we're going to compare it to other industries, perhaps healthcare or some of the others around, just to kind of see where we relate in some of those things. The survey will go to all students, faculty, and staff, and again, as I mentioned, it's not to replace what you normally receive from us with IT Up Central. This is for all of information technology. And I don't have the slide. For some reason, it wasn't working today. But the survey that we're going to send, it only has one required question. And it's a score of 0 to 10, 0 being dissatisfied, 10 being satisfied. And the question is, overall, how satisfied are you with IT support at Texas Tech University? It's only one required question. There's a couple other questions in there, but they're not required. Very short, very simple. And information technology, IT support, is however you define that. That could be us, that could be IT Up Central, that could be something that could be local for your college, the support that you receive from the personnel there, could be classroom related. Whatever that means to you, we want to know what your rating is, okay? Again, it'll be real fast, and at some point the results will be published. That's part of that accountability, transparency thing we're talking about, so that you'll know what our baseline is and what we're doing to try to work to improve that. So, that's all I have. Any thoughts or questions? Just ask that you, when you do receive that, if you will, it'll be coming from SurveyMonkey, so we just ask that you please talk to your friends and ask them to complete that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I know this is a really boring topic, right? I just be completely honest with you. I should be here, right? Yeah. Actually, it's a boring topic, right? Many times when I'm giving a survey, I said, hey, what's that? I don't have time. I don't do it. Because many of the surveys, they ask you like 40 questions in 5 pages. Who has time, right? You better have time, study organic chemistry or something else. But this one really is, the topic I said is really how we can service you better. And we know your time is very precious, because every time I try to speak to my son, I feel really honored to have 5 minutes of his time. Right? That's just how thing is. So it's one question, but also this is industry standard, because I buy a lot from Amazon, right? Even all Walmart's down the street, which is cheaper. But guess what? I buy from them. Why? It's not because of the price. It's because the experience, right? It's the experience. No question asked, return, free shipping, whatever, right? You see everything. So that's the experience. So we want you, because your parents send you over here. It's our obligation. We want to give you that experience. And we want to find it out how we're doing. That's like Andrew said, the first is how we're doing. Number 2 is, where are the gaps, right? Things can be bad, but tell us where, right? That's the second purpose. Third is, we are accountable to you. We're accountable to your parents. So we're going to publish, we're going to do exactly the same survey, ask exactly the same question in the same month, and to student, faculty, the same TTU community. So some of you learn the statistics, know this is as close as you can get to a controlled experiment, right? So we're going to publish that results, and hopefully we're going to drive up the satisfaction. And we can compare. You can compare our numbers with Amazon, you can compare our number with Walmart, and you know how we're doing. Right? So this is our accountability to you. But we couldn't do those without your participation. And we are so fortunate, I think. Abigail already saying that I know we have conversations, but just getting us involved in your session, letting us to speak to you, because you represent a very large number of students. How many students we have in the university? Question. Anybody knows? 40,000. Yeah, be more precise. Come on. That's a big number. Who has a precise number? Sorry?
41,556.
4193.
You would win the prize. So it's a 4969. Right? We just need 31 more students to get to the round number you guys all talk about, right? So that's a large. How many people we have in the room? Maybe 100. So each one of you represent 1,000 students, right? So we need your help to drive up the. On average, not on average drive, maybe some, yeah. We need your help to drive up the participation, We cannot have 41 students. When we have the survey, we get like 200 students. And that's like 2% of the people participate. That doesn't really help us, right? To help you. So help us. I hope we get somewhere around maybe 30,000. I know that's a challenge, right? I'm very honest. I'll be thrilled if we really get to 30,000. But that would be a credit to you, because you help us to reach to your audience. So let us know what we can do, but we do this because of you. Again, I'm saying you define our existence. So we are here for you. So help us.
Thank you, Dr. Cao. Senators and beloved members of SGA, please feel free to utilize those gentlemen as a resource. They've been incredibly cooperative with us and have worked with us tirelessly. If you have any concerns regarding information or the IT division of the university's administrative capacities, please feel free to reach out to them. They've pledged themselves as a resource and are more than excited to help us on any initiatives that we may need.
So I forgot to say, I'm the CIO. I'm the lecturer usually put appendix instead of prefix, right? So I'm the vice president of CI, Chief Information Officer. If anything goes wrong, my neck is on the line. Okay, so come to us, but your neck's on the line, but my neck first, right? So let me tell you, so that's how I look at it. We are here for you. So thank you.
One more round of applause for Again, members of SGA, please feel free to utilize them as a resource. They have been an incredible help to at least the executive team, and their assistance really knows no bounds. They're super excited to work with us. It's a very exciting presentation, and I'm super excited to see the work that y'all may be able to do with them. Up next on our agenda, we will have our open forum. So, Rule 33, Section 2 of the Senate states, any student enrolled in Texas Tech University may address the Senate during the open forum on any given issue. If you are looking to address the chamber, please rise for recognition from the speaker. Going once. Going twice. Sold. Up next on our agenda will be our executive reports. Please welcome Graduate Vice President Kara Ashworth.
Hi everyone, I just want to start out by thanking you guys once again for all the work that y'all are doing to benefit the student body. You guys are greatly appreciated. And then secondly, I just wanted to make y'all aware of an initiative and a partnership between SGA and Raider Red's Food Pantry. We will be collecting donations and putting together bags for students to take with them over the winter/Christmas break. That'll consist of food and other supplies that they'll need while the on-campus resources like the food pantry are closed for those couple weeks. So I will send out more information on how to be involved in this initiative. You guys will also be able to get a service point that can go towards y'all's requirements if you guys choose to participate. It's also just a great way to be a blessing to a fellow student during the holiday season, so look out for an email from me about that initiative next week or so. But that's all I have. Thank y'all.
Up next, welcome External Vice President Carter Aaron. Just let me know when to hit the slide.
Okay, I got you. Happy Thursday again, everyone. I'm glad to see everyone here. Wanted to start off with a couple things. I've got 2 main points and then the saying of the week. But wanted to start off with our Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. Big shout out first to Elizabeth Cherry. She reached out on behalf of the university student housing and got involved in this. And so I put out that sign up genius. It's still a couple of weeks out, as you'll see. And those 10 spots were filled in that same night. And so I want to give you a big round of applause for that. We talked about kind of last time the importance on that, having 1 in every 2 Red Raiders, over 1 in every 2 with like 54%, I believe, hungry on campus. And so that's a great outreach. Super excited for you to get involved in that. And we can have this week go effortlessly. And then so secondly, I would usually go into the next topic. I'm going to kind of expedite it and go into the saying of the week this week. So you're welcome. First off, it is, if at first you don't succeed, skydiving isn't for you. And so that sounds super cheesy, right? But thankfully our Senate, we have 3 readings, right? So we're not just jumping in head first doing that. And that kind of leads into my message of being intentional and being a continual learner with everything that you do. And so now as we kind of go into transportation student fee updates, if you'll switch the slide. I know this is kind of a big deal. I sat in on all of these meetings, and there's a lot of senators that have put in great work, and your voice is so impactful in this too. I encourage great debate. I just wanted to give you some more data and insight since it is a $4.8 million project. And so with this, we'll give you kind of a business lecture, so don't fall asleep on me. But the first red line you'll see in FY24, we get to go by each year in the fiscal year and that spending, and it's all variable, right? So the first one you'll see that $4,287,000. Thank you for the mouse on there. So that number right there is the money that we bring in because of the services. Where it sits at the very top, $13 per service hour, capped at 4 hours of service per student, which equals $52 semesterly. And so that's where it stands. We see that our expenditures, though, are more than our revenue, creating ultimately where the circle is, our net operating income being in the red. And so this eats into the number under it, which is the fund balance. And so we're projected to not have any money left in this program if we leave it kind of where it is. And so that was a big question. That's why we assembled this committee, and they called on us, the people that kind of represent, like you said, 1,000 people each. I know that's a big task, but it's an important task, and you're all skilled in that ability. And so we proposed that, for instance, on that fee, it would be in between B and C at $14.75 per hour, would bring your NOI, which is your net operating income, where it's about even, and the students aren't paying for a surplus, what's the word? Surplus in that. Sorry guys, brain fog, been a long day, but it kind of meets perfectly in that. And so we didn't want to just give as much money as we could so that we're milking students in that fee, but we wanted to find efficiencies. And so, like he talked about with Amazon, like that's a huge deal. You're efficient in it because it's efficient for you. You get to see the different prices. That's what those different fiscal years with different proposals is. And that's what we did going through in this committee that was able to write different resolutions. We got to see the different prices. So we looked at maybe what if you cut the summer services? What if you take away Route 60, add another bus there? Or what if you were to take away Tech Terrace? So there's lots of things that go into it. But at the end of the day, it's finding efficiencies and knowing that if at first you don't succeed, skydiving isn't for you. So you get to be a continual learner. And I'm really glad that our Senate has this opportunity. But that's what I have for you this week. Thanks.
Thank you, External Vice President Carter Ashworth. Up next on our agenda will be Student Body President Abigail Vega.
Hello everyone, I hope each of you have had a great week. I wanted to take a quick moment just to recognize our ambassadors. We have many of them in the room, so just take a moment to kind of applaud them just a little bit. They've been doing a great job on our service and outreach side of things alongside many of you as senators as well as first years, so wanted to applaud them and give them a pat on the back for all the hard work that they've been putting in throughout the semester. Just going into it, I know that Carter spoke about the transportation fee, but also on the topic of the UREC fee. We will be starting some sort of campaign in order to vote over this specific fee at the next general election, which will be held on March 4th. So with that, we'll be scheduling a town hall here soon. Likely we'll have one this semester as well as another next semester before that general election. But we'll be posting on social media, so make sure you're engaging with that as well as participating in the town hall. That'll we'll likely be able to offer some outreach points on that specific subject as well. But just be on the outlook for those updates. But wanted to update you as we receive them. Alongside that, Reagan and I have been meeting with several of our cabinet members, so we'll be finishing those up throughout the next week. And they've had a lot of great updates, have mentioned maybe partnering with some senators and things of that sort. I know that many of them have likely reached out to you previously, but we'll continue to do that, so be on the lookout for that as well. They're definitely doing a great job, and we're looking forward to the remainder of this semester as well as next semester as well. Alongside that, of course, I know that many of you were paired with an FYC member, so make sure that you're engaging with them, and they're, of course, looking forward to being very hands-on and learning a lot from each of you. So very exciting for that as well as FYLA. They've been doing a great job within our executive offices and have been able to make that positive impact, so definitely very grateful for our FYE programs. But that's all I have. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out, or my office is always open. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Up next on our agenda will be our judicial reports. Seeing as there are no judicial reports at this time, we will move along to my remarks. Super excited to be here, everybody. Dr. Zhao might have been the funniest person I've had in my 3 years up here. It was an awesome presentation, and I'm super excited to see the work that y'all are going to do with him moving forward. But for my remarks, let's start off with our committee reports. So that is me. Yeah, so these committee reports will now be going public. The idea of these committee reports, as they are drafted, is to be held accountable to the student body. And over the past 3 years, we've really been skipping them in the rules of the Senate, and that's completely fine. It's up to the consensus of the Senate if they are to be skipped. However, we are still to be accountable to the students that we represent. So moving forward, these committee reports will now be going public, and they will be listed on the Tech Connect for every constituent that we serve to be viewed publicly. So please begin to fill them out as if a student is going to be looking at them, because more than likely they will be. So I don't want to see, we'll do a more centralized structure in a little bit, but I will give further details on that as they come. But please begin to professionally fill out those reports. Again, we operate under the premises that we are a professional chamber, so please make your committee reports reflective as such. Up next is our meeting with a student org. I've noticed that a lot of you are missing your outreach points. For those of you who didn't know, the meeting with a student org counts as an outreach point. You are doing outreach actively on behalf of the Student Government Association, so you're killing two birds with one stone as you get this point. If you need help contacting a student org or getting with any student orgs, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm here as a resource for all of you, and I look forward to helping you get connected with the student org if you need. Again, remember that you can utilize it in a one-on-one capacity where you meet directly with student leadership, or you can go and speak at a general meeting and take a more recruitment or advertising approach, as I've begun to call it. And then again, to reiterate, it counts as an outreach. You'll be getting 2 points just for meeting with the student board. Up next, please meet with me. A lot of you have met with me. Super excited and productive conversations going on. And just really looking forward to keep on meeting with y'all, but please get into contact with me. It is a requirement, and I don't want to have to impeach you because you didn't sit in my office for 15 minutes. So please get that going, and we can get the ball rolling to get you on track to get your points. So up next, we have few opportunities left to reach points. We'll be having 2 outreach opportunities next Wednesday and the Wednesday after. Those will be our tabling opportunities. We'll have more details with that as they come along. Vice President Kara Ashworth mentioned a canned food drive for international students that are not going home over the holidays. That will be counted as a service opportunity if you bring a variety of different items, which we will then clarify, which the VP will then clarify afterwards. And then up next is, I'm very impressed with the chamber today. I just wanted to give everyone here a round of applause. Y'all are doing amazing work, and I'm very surprised with the work and very excited with the work that has been coming through. I think in positions of student leadership, it's very hard to get discouraged. It's very hard to get discouraged, but with a chamber and the work that I saw this week, it makes it a little bit easier and a little bit more exciting to show up to work every day. So I just want to give all of y'all a round of applause for incredible work and incredible And then to follow that up, I've heard from almost all of you regarding what you're working on, and I've heard that y'all have been reaching out to administrators, which is great. Keep on reaching out to administrators. Again, legislation should never be a surprise the moment it gets sent to third reading. If you send something and you have not talked to an administrator and they're on that mail stop, you're wrong. Does that make sense? Y'all are doing a great job reaching out to them. I've talked to various administrators on my end, and they're all aware that y'all are sending these so-called feelers. I've talked about it in my meetings with y'all, but just to give y'all a quick preface, a feeler is when you send a very broad email to a department head. Say, like TPS, Brian Brand. Awesome guy to work with. We work with him all the time. You send a general feeler over to Brian Brand, be like, hey, Mr. Brand, I have this idea. Could you be able to connect me with someone in your department who can better reference me to work on this legislation? That's what we're really looking to do. So send these feelers out. If you need any help, let me know. But administrators have been told that y'all are sending these feelers. So that's the way to get into contact with them. There are times that not even myself, Abigail, or even Carter know who to reach out to. And we send these feelers as well. So just be really intentional when you send these feelers and send it to a general department. And if you need any help, please come and find some. Chairs and vice chairs, please meet with your dean. I saw on the committee reports a lot of meetings are going through, but if you have not even begun to figure it out, please figure it out by the end of the semester, or if not, please do it very early January. Reminder, it is a requirement. It is an incredible way to maintain accountable to and show our face to different administrators on campus. But yeah, other than that, that is it for my remarks. Next on our agenda will be our routine motions and other business. Are there any senators who have not been sworn in? No. Cool. Okay, please stand. Okay, so please rise, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I do hereby solemnly swear that I shall faithfully execute the duties of the office. I shall, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Student Government Association of Texas Tech University and the regulations which be made in pursuance thereof. Congratulations, Senators. The floor is open for routine motions and other business. Please rise for recognition from the chair if you have a routine motion. Once, twice. We will be moving on. Up next on our agenda will be our committee reports. We will begin with our academic committee. Senator Heath.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the standing rules of the Senate and skip committee reports.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Joyce to suspend the standing rules of the Senate requiring the reading of our committee reports. As a reminder, this motion is undebatable, unamendable, and requires a 2/3 majority vote. All those in favor of suspending the rules of the Senate to skip the reading of committee reports, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Reports will be skipped. Up next on our agenda will be our first reading. So with the first reading of the day, we have Senate Concurrent Resolution 60.01. As a reminder, this will be a 2/3 vote piece, being as it is a concurrent resolution. And I believe it should be in your packets. Senator Webb.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce concurrent resolution 60.01, stating the sentiments of the Student Senate regarding referendum on the spring 2025 general election ballot to secure a consensus of the student opinion regarding increasing the recreation fee statutory limit. May I approach the podium?
You may. Thank you, Senator Webb, for an impeccable reading of your action item.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, hello everyone. I hope you've all had a great evening and a good week. So as y'all know, we need to increase the rec fee from the current fee of $100 to $125 just to keep up with rising operating expenditures. We've kind of drilled that into y'all's heads. I'm not going to go too deep into that. If you have any questions, feel free to debate. So this piece is stating what we're actually going to put on the SGA ballot this spring to get the students on board with the increase to the fee. So I'd like to direct your attention to line 33 through 47 if you have your packets out. I'm going to read this verbatim. So what'll be on Title I, it'll be currently university recreation has faced an increase in operating expenditures due to inflation and rising utilities costs. Additionally, if a fee increase does not happen, the rec center may have to begin charging students for fitness classes and rec league games, and may even have to cut down the current weekday hours of 5 a.m. to 12 a.m. midnight. Do you support the state legislature increasing the recreation fee limit to create the option for the rec to increase its annual fee to continue current upkeep of fitness classes, operational hours, and recreation league games at no charge for students? And then Title II, the available options are going to be number 1, yes, I do support an increase to the recreation fee statutory limit. Number 2, no, I do not support an increase to the recreation fee statutory limit. And number 3, I have no opinion in regard to an increase in the rec fee statutory limit. So with that being said, Mr. President, I move to place concurrent resolution 60.01 on to second reading.
It has been moved and seconded by Senator Ramirez to place Senate Concurrent Resolution 60.01 on second reading and sent to all committees. This motion is undebatable, unamendable, and as a reminder, because it is a concurrent resolution, requires a 2/3 majority vote. Please utilize the clickers to vote in the poll. Thank you, Senator Webb. With 46 senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be Senate Resolution 60.51.
Mr. President,
Senator Besner.
I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.51, stating the sentiments of the Student Senate regarding the placement of memorial bricks in front of the dairy barn for the students who passed away within the Davis College in the 2024 year. May I approach the podium?
You may. Thank you, Senator Besner.
Hey Hey everyone, if you don't know me, my name is Kirsten Besner, and this piece is basically exactly what's in the title. If you've ever walked in front of the dairy barn, there's a piece in the pavement with engraved bricks of professors and other people of importance who passed away within the dairy barn, and so we'd want to add some engraved bricks for the 4 students who passed away within the Davis College this year. So with that being said, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.51 on second reading and send to all committees.
It has been moved and seconded by Senator Scoville to place Senate Resolution 60.51 on second reading and sent to all committees. As a reminder, this motion is undebatable, unamendable, and requires a majority vote. Please proceed to use your clicker to vote in the poll. With 46 senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on the agenda is Senate Resolution 60.52. As a reminder, this motion is a change to the rules of the Senate, so we'll need a 2/3 vote.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.52 regarding Rule 28 of the Senate Handbook to discontinue printing Senate bills and resolutions and to write them digitally to more closely align with our goal of reducing our environmental footprint. May I approach the vote?
You may. Thank you, Senator Al.
Good evening, everybody. As Diego said, this is a Senate resolution to change the rules of the Student Senate. This one particularly will be changing Rule 28. So usually Ashlyn, our journal clerk, prints out an entire packet before every single Senate meeting, as stated in Rule 28. But it's becoming sort of a problem, and it's becoming really unsustainable, which is part of the reason we weren't able to print them out for this meeting. I did the math, and if we printed out 50 copies of this meeting's journal, or like bills and resolutions, it's 71 pages, which would be like 30 pieces of paper. And if we did that for every single person, for every single meeting, that's like over 20,000 sheets of paper, which I Googled it, that's 2 trees. That means we're like wasting 2 trees every year. That's ridiculous. So this piece is mainly to just provide it digitally like Ashlyn's been doing, and everyone can bring a laptop or a phone. And if you have a disability or another reason why you can't have an app, like a phone or a laptop or something, we can still get it printed for you. But this is just for the majority. We're not going to print it every single time. So with that being said, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.52 on a second reading and send to all committees.
It has been moved and seconded by Senator Fuller to send Senate Resolution 60.52 to second reading and sent to all committees. As a reminder, this motion is undebatable, unamendable, and in concurrence with Rule 40, Section 2 of the Rules of the Senate, it requires a 2/3 majority vote. Please utilize your clickers to vote in the poll. With 43 senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be Senate Resolution 60.53.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.53 stating the sentiments of the Student Senate regarding the implementation of QR codes directing students to the digital university map. May I approach the vote?
You may. Thank you, Senator Clary.
Good evening. I hope you all are doing well. I'm Portia, if you haven't already met me. The purpose of this piece is really just to implement QR codes of the digital Texas Tech University map. I know we all have like Apple Maps, but there's a map on the Texas Tech website that is more detailed and makes it easier to navigate around campus. And so this piece would just implement these QR codes around campus for visitors or new students to easily navigate campus. We've also been in communication with the sub-marketing team, and they've agreed to implement QR codes, permanent QR codes on their digital screens. So with that being said, I move to place this Senate Resolution 60.53 on second reading and sent to all committees.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Tippin to move Senate Resolution 60.53 to second reading and sent to all committees. As a reminder, this motion is undebatable, unamendable, and requires a majority vote. Please proceed to use your clickers to vote in the poll. 47 senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on our agenda is Senate Resolution 60.54. Senator Tete. Yes, you may. Thank you, Senator Tete.
Hi, everyone. So this resolution is to bring attention to the need for enhanced security measures in the parking lots. We do understand and appreciate the efforts made in putting cameras in some parking lots on campus, and we are calling for same measures to be taken in the remaining parking lots. This is important because the safety and security of students, faculty, staff at Texas Tech University are critical to maintaining a productive and supportive campus environment, integral to fostering academic success and personal well-being. That being said, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.54 on second reading and send to all committees.
It has been moved and seconded by Senator Repetto to place Senate Resolution 60.54 on second reading and sent to all committees. As a reminder, this motion is undebatable and amendable and requires a majority vote. Please use your clickers to vote in the poll. With 44 senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on our agenda, Senate Resolution 60.55. Senator Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.55, stating the sentiments of the Student Senate regarding the integration of grade distribution within the registration portal.
You may. Thank you, Senator Griffin.
So currently for the grade distribution reports, they are found on RadarLeak in a location that is separate from a frequently accessed registration menu, which reduces its visibility and usage in the course registration process. When talking to students, many of them were unaware that grade distributions of previous classes were available and did not know where to look, resulting in crucial data being underutilized and making informed decisions regarding course registration. After discussions with the Office of the Registrar, they stated that while integration of grade distributions within the registration portal was not initially planned, they are discussing with their vendor on its feasibility. This would help students dramatically with their registration for their classes and provide valuable information and academic performance data for their courses that they're interested in. We therefore would like to recommend and support the Office of the Registrar to integrate grade distributions within the registration portal on RadarLink to increase accessibility to valuable performance data for students in the registration process. With that, I move to place this piece on second reading and sent to all committees.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Bergeron to place Senate Resolution 60.55 on second reading and sent to all committees. As a reminder, this motion is undebatable and amendable and requires a majority vote. Please use your clickers. With 46 senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on our agenda, Senate Resolution 60.56. Senator Moreno.
President, oh my goodness. I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.56 regarding the publication of the Dean's Honors List. May I approach the podium?
You may.
Thank you.
Good catch, Senator Moreno.
Thank you. Right. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's doing all right. So basically with this resolution here, we want to be able to acknowledge our students that are going above and beyond and getting that 3.5 or even higher. So we have noticed that when you make the Dean's List, you get a little certificate, right? It's pretty cool. And then you get it posted on your transcript. But what if we went the extra mile and having the registrar here at Texas Tech post it online to where people can actually see what you're doing here? It can help out when you're applying for a job and they see your name on the Dean's List, Dean's Honors List. But also the thing is, the rest of the universities in the Big 12 do it, why can't we? So again, this piece is about making sure that we honor those students that are doing an amazing job here at Texas Tech, to show Texas Tech is worthy enough to be a good school to come, or good university to come to. So with that, Mr. President, I motion, sorry, I move to place Senate resolution onto second reading and to be sent to all committees.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Kefi to send Senate Resolution 60.56 to second reading and sent to all committees. As a reminder, this motion is undebatable, unamendable, and requires a majority vote. All those, or sorry, please use your clickers to vote.
If you're having trouble with your clicker, you can come up now.
Forty-six senators in favor. Motion passes. Up next on our agenda, Senate Resolution 60.57. Senator Lamb.
Mr. President, I rise to present Senate Resolution 60.57, stating the sentiments of the Student Senate regarding the publication of the President's honor list. May I approach the podium?
Impeccable, Senator Lamb. You may.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see all of y'all tonight. This piece basically is exactly what Senator Moreno said, except for the President's list. We just want this to be able to recognize our high-achieving students within Texas Tech. And one other thing is that they're allowed to opt in or opt out in compliance with FERPA. So if they want to opt out, we don't release any of that information. They still get their certificate in their email. So all that still works. And like Senator Moreno said, every other Big 12 school does this, so let's get in the majority. And with that, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.57 to second reading and sent to all committees.
It has been moved and seconded by Senator Farag to send Senate Resolution 60.57 to second reading and sent to all committees. As a reminder, this motion is undebatable, unamendable, requires a majority vote. Please vote in the poll. With 100% of senators in favor, motion passes. Senate Resolution 60.58.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.58, stating the sentiments of the Student Senate regarding operating the grab and go station at Sam's Place Murray on Friday and Saturdays. May I first podium?
Thank you, Senator Hamer.
Hey y'all, so for those that haven't got to meet yet, my name is Caitlin Haney and I am a senator in the College of Arts and Sciences. Senate Resolution 60.58 addresses the need for expanding dining access at Sam's Place Murray by proposing the operation of its grab-and-go station on Fridays and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. While currently being closed on these days, Murray's dining hall's limited hours presents challenges for students who rely on convenient meal options, and opening the grab-and-go station would meet students' needs in a cost-effective manner, balancing accessibility with fiscal responsibility by avoiding the expense of fully staffing the dining hall. And so with that, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.58 on second reading and sent to all.
It has been moved and seconded by Senator Bijou to send Senate Resolution 60.58 to second reading and sent to all committees. This motion is undebatable, unamendable, and requires a majority vote. Please vote in poll. 42 senators in favor, motion passes. Senate Resolution 60.59. Senator Bergeron.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.59 stating the sentiments of the Student Senate regarding the support of daily trash pickup and weekly floor sweeps within the Academic Sciences Building and First Podium.
You may.
Hi guys, my name is Christian Bergeron. If I haven't met you yet, I'm a senator for the College of Arts and Sciences. This piece me and Grace Ann Stray authored together. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to present it tonight since she is sick. But this piece is basically just stating that the Student Senate supports weekly trash sweeps of the Academic Sciences Building. Many of our constituents and even like TAs of the Academic Sciences Building have expressed concern that it wasn't being kept up greatly, which is a little bit frustrating for some students because it is such a new building. Grace Ann has already reached out to the facilities director and they are also on board with this. So this is basically just stating that the student government is also in support of these trash sweeps as well. So with that, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.59 on second reading and send to all committees.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Webb to send Senate Resolution 60.59 to second reading and sent to all committees. This motion is undebatable, unamendable, and requires a majority vote. Please use your clickers to vote in the poll. With 46 senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be Senate Resolution 60.60.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.60, stating the sentiment of the Student Senate regarding the expansion of SI eligibility for upper-level courses. May I have a motion to
You
adopt?
may. Thank you, Senator Armstrong.
Hey y'all. So SI sessions are interactive group review sessions led by student SI leaders, as many of y'all might know. This semester, Texas Tech offers about 40 courses in the SI program. Selections of these courses is based on factors including the number of D's and F's in the class and the number of withdrawals by students. And selection of SI leaders currently requires them to have earned an A in the class. But this restriction has limited the session's availability for some upper-level courses. And through research on grade distributions and feedback from several students, we identified several courses that could benefit, several upper-level courses that could benefit from SI sessions, including Math 3310, Psychology 4323, and Physics 3306, among a number of others. Mr. Lopez from the SI office expressed a readiness to reconsider the eligibility criteria for SI leaders in upper level courses to include students who have earned a B in particularly difficult classes. And this expansion would increase academic support and enrich the SI program and just, make people do better in their classes. And we encourage y'all to support this initiative. So with that, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.60 to second reading and send to all committees.
It has been moved and seconded by Senator Bergeron to send Senate Resolution 60.60 to second reading and sent to all committees. This motion is undebatable, unamendable, and requires a majority vote. Please use your clickers to vote in the poll. Senator Scoble, is there a request to have the first year's leave?
Yes, there is. I rise to motion to let our first year students leave since it's 7 o'clock.
Thank you, Senator Scoble. First years, you are welcome to leave if you so choose. Please exit the chamber at this time if you are looking to leave. Thank you, first years. You do not have to leave if you do not want to. This is completely at your discretion. Come on, guys. Senator Closing. Go ahead, With 35 students in favor, or 35 senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on our agenda is Senate Resolution 60.61. Senator Baker.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.01 regarding the enhancing accessibility to student health center parking. May I approach the podium?
You may.
Good evening, beautiful people. I don't want to take too much of your time, but basically the Senate resolution is trying to make it easier and more accessible for students and our constituents to use the student health center. Right now, the parking isn't as accessible to them. They don't know where to park, and I think they're kind of scared to park so they're get a ticket. So we're just trying to make it easier so for them to put it on their website, put QR codes up so they know where to park, so they're more likely to use the student health center. So, Mr. President, I motion to place this Senate resolution on second reading and send to all committees.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Heath to send Senate Resolution 60.61 to second reading and sent to all committees for review. Please use your clickers to vote in the poll. This motion is undebatable. Don't know if I said it. 44 senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on our agenda is Senate Resolution 60.62. Senator Geist-White.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.62 stating the sentiments of the Student Senate regarding the support of Texas Tech University's student course feedback process. May I first podium?
You may.
Hey everyone, this piece is about student course feedback. So in the 59th session, there was a piece passed about this. It was a resolution, not a concurrent resolution. This piece will actually be a concurrent resolution. And so basically, they created a new student course feedback program and also redefined teaching excellence. And so to save on a little bit of time, I will tell y'all I'm going to place this on third and final passage. And we're going to amend it to make it concurrent, so it's withholding for all years. And the purpose of this is that student course feedback happens in a little less than a week. It starts rolling out. And so just to go by the book and by everything happening smoothly, passing this piece of legislation, already giving student support, SGA support, this would allow the Student Senate to now be behind it, and whenever we're tabling an efforts of student course feedback or posting on social media, this only adds validity to that. So with that, Mr. President, I move to suspend the standing rules of the Senate, allowing all pieces be sent to third reading.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Lamb to suspend the standing rules of the Senate.
Unless to skip or to
To send Senate Resolution 60.62 to third reading and final passage.
suspend the standing rule that requires all pieces.
Oh, requires all pieces.
Thank you, Senator Clark. It's been moved and seconded by Senator Lamb to suspend the standing rules of the Senate, requiring the reading of all pieces on second reading, and it's been moved to place the reading on third and final passage. This motion is debatable, unamendable, and requires a 2/3 majority vote. All those in favor of suspending the standing rules of the Senate, please say aye. Granted. Is there any debate?
Wait, can you clarify?
All y'all are confusing. The current motion on the floor is to suspend the standing rules of the Senate requiring Senate Resolution 60.62 to be sent to second reading. It will skip second reading, move directly to third reading where it will pass for final passage. This motion is debatable, undebatable, unamendable, and requires a 2/3 majority vote. All those in favor of suspending the standing rules of the Senate, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Motion passes. It is now on third reading and final passage.
Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.62 on third reading and final passage.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Joyce to place Senate Resolution 60.62 on third reading and final passage. This motion is undebatable, debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. All those in favor, is there any debate?
Mr. President,
Senator Clark.
I move to amend this piece by renumbering to Senate Concurrent Resolution 60.02.
The current, it's been moved and seconded by Senator Joyce to amend Senate Resolution 60.62 by changing the title line to read Senate Concurrent Resolution 60.02. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate on the floor? Hearing none, we will now proceed to vote. All those in favor of amending the piece, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Motion passes. Piece is amended. Is there any debate on the floor regarding Senate Concurrent Resolution 60.02? Okay, it is on third reading and final passage. We will now proceed to vote. Please use your clickers to vote and poll. 43 senators in favor. Motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be Senate Resolution 60.63. Senator Caraway.
Mr. President, I rise to present Senate Resolution 60.63 stating the sentiments of Student Senate regarding the installation of vending machines in the academic center. Yeah.
You may.
Hey everyone, so just what the title says, this piece is a resolution to install vending machines in the new academic science building to provide convenient access to refreshments for students and staff. And with that, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.63 on second reading.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Ramirez to send Senate Resolution 60.63 to second reading and to be reviewed by all committees. This motion is undebatable, unamendable, and requires a majority vote. Please use your clickers to vote in the poll. .44 senators in favor. Motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be Senate Resolution 60.64. Senator Iden.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.64 stating the sentiments of the Student Senate regarding posting the Student Government Association's current initiatives on the SGA website. May I approach the podium?
You may.
Hi everyone. For those that I have yet had the chance to meet, my name is Cody Iden and I'm an at-large senator here. The purpose of this piece of legislation is to further connect us as a Student Senate by posting a summary of active, ongoing, and completed legislation on the SGA website. Along with posting a summary of our initiatives, this piece proposes including a student feedback portal and senator contact information to encourage further communication and connection with the student body, to ensure that we, as a Senate, can continue to address the concerns and wants of the students. By including a student feedback portal, senator contact information, and not only legislation that has been passed on final reading, but the initiatives that senators are currently working on, we can further align ourselves as a student government with the needs and priorities of the students and ultimately become a more effective and accountable student government association. So with that, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.64 on second reading and sent to all committees.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Auer to send Senate Resolution 60.64 to second reading and to be reviewed by all committees. This motion is undebatable, unamendable, and requires a majority vote. Please proceed to vote in the poll. .42 senators in favor. Motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be our second reading, Senate Bill 60.02. In regards to this piece, it will be a 2/3 majority vote, and it should be in your packets, which you picked up this morning, in concurrence with Rules of the Senate, Rule 19, Section 8. So please turn to it in your papers. Senator Howard.
Mr. President, I rise to reintroduce Senate Bill 60.02 to amend the budget and finance rules regarding the allocation of funds to food products for student organizations. May I first read it?
You may.
I apparently really like to change rules because I realize I have the only two pieces printed out right now, but that's okay. So currently, SGA prohibits the orgs receiving our funding to spend money on food at promotional and social events. This piece will allow student organizations to spend up to 10% of their SGA funds on food products for social and promotional events with a few stipulations. These stipulations include that the organization cannot solely receive funding from SGA, meaning they need to have dues or fundraisers as well. And I have met with Teresa Davis and Gunn about this, and they have approved this piece going into effect starting fiscal year 2027. So it won't affect this year's BNF process, but it will affect next year's BNF process. And the only thing changing is that they'll be allowed to spend some of their money on food for social and promotional events, which I've had a lot of orgs talk to me about. And it would be a good way to get them to use their budget more, which is a problem we've been having with budget and finance. So overall, I think it would just be good for everybody. So, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Bill 60.02 onto third reading and final passage.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Tete to send Senate Resolution 60.02 to third reading and final passage. As a reminder, this motion is debatable, amendable, and it requires a 2/3 majority vote, being that it is a bill. Is there any debate on the floor? Hearing none, we will now proceed to vote in the poll. Senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on our agenda is Senate Resolution 60.37. Senator Baker.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce the Senate's statement regarding the installing the weapon, the printer, and the academic science building. Can I approach the podium?
You may.
Okay guys, so basically this piece is trying to put a weapon printer in the ASB building. I don't know if you've been there, but it's kind of in this middle of campus. So many students have classes where they need to print out their labs and they need to print out papers to go and take notes. So this would just make it easier for all students so they're not having to run from building to building. They can do it all in one central building. So Mr. President, I motion to place Senate Resolution 60.37 on third reading and final passage.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Minucci to send Senate Resolution 60.37 to third reading and final passage. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate on the floor? Please proceed to vote in the poll. With 44 senators in favor, motion passes. Please refrain from using your phones in the chamber. Senate Resolution 60.38. Senator Gaitonde.
Mr. President, I rise to reintroduce the Senate Resolution 60.38 regarding the implementation of informational signage on all on and off campus bus stops. May I please approach the floor?
You may.
All right, hello all of you. I know we've had a long meeting so far, but just a little bit more to get through. So this piece is about optimizing the current busing services that are going on with TPS. After meeting with the Transportation Committee, we discussed how a lot of students have trouble coordinating their bus timings and transportation, which results in a lot of overcrowding along the stops. To help address this, we support the implementation of signage at each stop with information on bus routes and timings, as well as advertisements of the GoPass app for real-time coverage. Overall, we think that this project will help streamline the current busing services And with that, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.38 on third reading and final passage.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Farrar to send Senate Resolution 60.38 to third reading and final passage. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate on the floor? Any reason why we should not pass this piece? Hearing none, we will now proceed to vote in the poll. With 44 senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be Senate Resolution 60.39. Senator Gatunde.
Mr. President, I also rise to reintroduce Senate Resolution 60.39, stating the student Senate's support of optimizing bus routes during the summer term. May I say it?
You may.
Thank you. So, guys, as you know from Carter's report, TPS is currently projected to operate $645,000 over budget, and they either need to make significant cuts or significantly increase their revenue via student fees. This piece and the other transportation pieces that you'll be hearing after this involve a less extreme combination of both. We want to make smaller cuts that affect very low levels of ridership while still preserving the overall mission of TPS. Now, the TPS survey we ran of over 500 students showed that 86% of students do not utilize busing services at all during the summer. This could be for a variety of reasons, namely the significant increase in parking availability during the summer terms. Now, given that we are needlessly spending money by running empty buses, we would like to express our support of the reduction of busing services during the summer. To clarify, we are not saying that buses should be completely cut over the summer, and additionally, even if all of these cut recommendations get passed, not all of them will actually be implemented. We are simply expressing our support of certain cuts to TPS so that they take our sentiments into account when deciding on what cuts to make. That being said, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.39 on third reading and final passage.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Caraway to send Senate Resolution 60.39 to third reading and final passage. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires a majority vote. Is there any debate on the floor? Senator Agarwal. And then, being as there is debate, or you will have the right to first response. Senator Gatunde. Senator Agarwal.
Cool. I just have one quick question. For the survey you took, was it students who had stayed over the summer previously, or was it just any student?
So the survey itself was conducted by polling at the sub, by tabling handled by SGA, and we received over, I think, around 586 responses of people that had had experience during the summer term as students. And then in addition, we didn't just take that into account, but also Mr. Brian Brand and the members of the Transportation Fee Advisory Committee also corroborated those results on their end.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you, Senator Gatunde. Any other debate on the floor? Hearing none, we will now proceed to vote. Please vote with your clickers. (41 senators in favor). Motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be Senate Resolution 60.40. Senator Griffin.
Mr. President, I rise to reintroduce Senate Resolution 60.40, stating the sentiments of the student senate regarding support for the expansion of pickleball facilities at Ronaldo Park.
You may.
So as it currently stands, the current facilities at Urbanowski Park comprise of 6 pickleball courts. Due to the growth and popularity of pickleball at Texas Tech University, this has led to overcrowding and extended wait times for pickleball players. Due to the insufficient amount of pickleball courts available, this has resulted in pickleball players encroaching on tennis court territory, leading pickleball players to occupy tennis courts to play pickleball. This overcrowding and overflow of pickleball players has led to tennis courts becoming an extension of pickleball for pickleball users and is not in line for the intended use of tennis courts. When reaching out to Managing Director Eric Mackey about this issue, Mr. Mackey shared that with us his current plan to use his current allocated funds to expand the pickleball facilities. His project is in partnership with the Department of Kinesiology and Sports Management, and he intends for this project to start in the summer of 2025. With Mr. Mackey's project, this would increase the amount of pickleball courts by 6 and reduce the amount of tennis courts by 2, leading to a total of 12 pickleball courts and 4 tennis courts. We believe that Mr. Mackey's proposal will not only address the growing popularity of pickleball at Texas Tech University, but also address the concerns of pickleball players encroaching on tennis court facilities. Our goal with this legislation is to support Mr. Mackey's proposal in how he uses his current budget allocation, provide background on the student issues we are facing currently with pickleball player overcrowding and encroachment, and provide an advisory opinion to ensure Mr. Mackey takes into account all stakeholders that would be affected by his proposal. With that, I move to place this piece on third reading and final passage.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Fuller to send Senate Resolution 60.40 to third reading and final passage. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate on the floor? Going once. Hearing none, we will now proceed to vote. Please vote in the poll.
If you're having trouble with your clicker, keep a record of your vote and you can give it to me afterwards.
Thank you, Mrs. Rocky. 44 senators in favor. Motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be Senate Resolution 60.41. Senator Farag.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce the Senate Resolution 60.41 stating the sentiments of the Student Senate regarding the reduction of the double T on-campus bus route by one bus per route. May I first read?
You may. Please remain quiet in the chamber, first years.
Hello everybody, this is another transportation piece. So Senate Resolution 60.41 proposes reducing double T bus services from 6 to 5 buses. This was a suggestion from TPS to help balance spending without disrupting large portions of ridership. By making small adjustments across individual routes rather than cutting entire routes, we can maintain the essential service for the student body while addressing the $645,000 deficit that TPS will be in. This measured approach keeps our focus on minimizing impact while ensuring TPS operates sustainably. With that, Mr. President, I move to send Senate Resolution 60.41 to third reading and final passage.
It has been moved and seconded by Senator Heath to send Senate Resolution 60.41 to third reading and final passage. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate on the floor? Senator Scoble. Senator Farag, you will have the right to first debate.
I'm a frequent user of this bus route during the days. I use it almost every day. These bus routes are often they run very behind. It takes about 15 minutes to get a bus to a bus stop, which is honestly ridiculous with 6 buses going around campus. Secondly, these buses are operating over capacity. There's often standing room only on these buses. There are no seats available. And that includes for friends maybe who have disabilities. There's no room for them to sit at all, which I think is kind of ridiculous. Reducing the number of buses on this route would have pretty bad impacts on the student body. It would take much longer to get to class. And like I said, it's already operating over capacity, so I don't see a need to cut it. I see a need to increase this bus route if anything.
Thank you, Senator Scoble. Senator Farag, you have the right to first debate.
Okay, so I understand what you're trying to say, but we talked to TPS, and they're trying to make these small cuts so we don't have to make even bigger cuts. So, for example, bus 60 could just be completely cut. And so, once again, if this piece does get passed, it doesn't necessarily mean it'll get implemented. We have 6 pieces that we're presenting today, and not all of them will be actually used.
Senator Heath, we'll come back to you, Senator Scoble.
So the reduction by one bus does, I guess, kind of imply that the routes will be slower, but actually right now those buses go to stops and then they sit and they wait. Many of you guys have seen them, they'll just sit and they'll wait for 5 minutes. Reducing it by one bus to help not cause the congestion that we've experienced, it's actually, TPS would look at decreasing the time that these buses are sitting and getting them moving more. So we're actually increasing the number of times that the buses stop at individual stops to help with that congestion and to help with the time that it takes to get to class.
Senator Scoble, did you want to respond?
First of all, with that, like I said, these buses are already standing room only. I've had an instance where the bus was completely full, I couldn't even get on, and I'd wait for the next bus to come. So by doing that, these buses are going to be even more fuller than they already were. And then back to you said there's 6 different pieces. With 6 different pieces that we're recommending to transportation and parking, there's no need to pass all 6 of them for their budget cuts. I'm sure they'd be perfectly fine suggesting maybe 4 or 5 of them. Like was mentioned before, they are not going to implement all of them either way. So by not suggesting something that would negatively impact the student body, I don't see a problem with. Like I say, there's multiple other ones that we've already passed, and there's ones to come that I'm sure will pass as well that will help them reach those desired cuts. and help them reach budget, but this is not the way to do it.
Thank you, Senator Scoble. We will move to Senator Joyce.
Yeah, just to go off the point about reducing
Please,
times that-
please, point of order. Please direct the debate to the chair.
Just to go off that point about the bus stops being at the bus for less time, I think that is very problematic. Just because I know I have many experiences where I'm like running to the very last second while the bus is waiting there. I think by cutting that window, it makes the buses more inaccessible where you only have like a few minutes to get to a bus stop in order to get there on time. And if you miss that bus stop, you're waiting for another 10 minutes for another bus to come around, which is why I rise in mediation in this piece.
Senator Gaetonde.
Hi guys, I rise in support of this piece. So I do understand the overcrowding problems that you guys are talking about, and this was an issue. My apologies. This was an issue that was discussed in our TPS meetings, and when we were discussing cuts to affect primarily lower levels of ridership. Now, the overcrowding that a lot of you are talking about happen at like points of like rush hour when it comes to these busing services. These are primarily points like at the beginning or the end of the day when people are coming to class or leaving class or needing to get around. These aren't like periods of overcrowding that extend throughout the day. And by having these bus routes run a little bit faster, actually, this cut will primarily not really affect the overcrowding that much, and it actually might help decrease it.
Senator Heath, this will be your last response.
Thank you, Mr. President. So a lot of the debate today has been personal anecdotes, but we actually have data from that survey that we conducted of almost 600 students, and over 95% of students were actually satisfied with the way that the double T routes are running. And our proposal, according to TPS, who runs all the numbers, runs all the scenarios and the models, this decrease by one bus will not change bus service hardly at all, if noticeable, maybe a little bit during rush hours. But I would like to just point out that an overwhelming majority of students on campus are happy with the service that Double T is providing.
Senator Baker.
I think as our universities, as a mission of government, we're supposed to support over 40,000 students. Going off a survey where less than half of the student body responded to it, I think that's ineffective, because not everybody who's using the buses or would utilize the buses if they move off campus is effective. So I think we should redo the survey if we're trying to cut buses and cut services that these students are using. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Senator Baker. Senator Auer.
I was in support of this piece. I'm going to say we have to make cuts regardless. And there's going to be a senator in this room that writes each of the many bus routes that we offer. And we can't not pass a piece just because that's the bus route that we take. We have to make cuts regardless. And in response to the survey, we were sent the survey to send out to the student body. So if we didn't get a number of responses that we're satisfied with, I think that's kind of on us as a Senate for not giving that survey out to more people.
Senator Tippin, and then we will proceed to Senator Joyce, and that will be your last response, Senator Joyce.
I'm in rise against this piece because, like Senator Schofield was saying, there's a lot of people who use a lot of different buses, and I think that's incorrect that the rush hour is why buses are getting impacted, because I think any time that I've taken the bus, it's been extremely packed. And also, like he said, that's unfair to the students who have disabilities, who need to sit down, who need different resources. And we could be doing a lot more things to utilize the transportation with buses and with parking rather than cutting things back. We need to be adding things, and we need to be implementing things that are more supportive for our students rather than reducing things that are better to benefit our students.
Senator Joyce, this will be your last response.
I understand that there is some problems with the survey. However, I don't think that's an excuse to pass this piece just because less than 2% of our students responded to this. Again, I know that we probably didn't do our jobs to send out this survey well enough, but I think that passing this piece just because of that is not the correct way. I think we should maybe try again with a better survey next time.
Thank you, Senator Joyce. Senator Fuller. Then we will proceed to Senator Auer, and that will be your last response.
I'd like to rise against this piece as well, not to pile on, but I know that you mentioned, sorry.
Please direct here.
Yes.
Thank you.
I know that another senator here mentioned that we're using personal anecdotes, but we are students here, and just because they're personal anecdotes for us doesn't mean that we don't see other people using these bus routes at these times. And just because the percent is very small doesn't mean it's negligible. As well for the survey, there's something that happens a lot of times with surveys like that. It's called response bias. You guys statistics will know about this.
Point of order, Senator Fuller, please direct your debate towards the chair.
a lot of times people, when we're standing out there, we're handing them stickers and giving them stuff to, like, we're giving them things in order to get a response from them. They're going to respond the way they think they want us to respond, like the way they actually truly feel. So even though that survey did say that people were satisfied, I don't know how much we can take that into value.
Thank you, Senator Fuller. Senator Howard, did you still want to rise?
Again, I rise in support of this piece. In regard to students with disabilities have special accommodations on campus. I have friends with disabilities where they get to use handicap parking, or they get to drive and have special parking spots so that way they can get to their class on time. I don't think the buses are really going to be a problem with that. If you see someone in a wheelchair standing there, give them your seat. Like, I don't know if this seems normal. Again, with the surveys, we could use that logic to any single survey that we use for any piece that we do.
Please remain quiet in the chamber.
Everyone's going to be sad about any bus. It's sad, I'm sorry, but something has to go, and this is what the people who work with this every single day have decided is the best route for us to take.
Thank you, Senator Howard. We will proceed to Senator Gaitonde, and then we will proceed to Senator Javid. This will be your last debate.
Yes, sir. So I do hear all of the Senate's problems with mitigating response bias and increasing our end count. However, it is extremely unrealistic to ask that a survey have over 20,000 responses in the specific time frame that we had. And I don't think it is very feasible to be able to run it again. Additionally, when it comes to response bias, it is very subjective to determine the amount of response bias that happens in a certain survey. And with that being said, yes, there are a lot of personal anecdotes from students who have experienced these kinds of issues on the bus, and I don't think it's right to use those personal anecdotes over the data that we've been able to compile. Additionally, I think it should be at least reiterated that a lot of cuts are going to be passed by TPS, no matter the sentiments of the Student Senate, right? We are trying to get them to institute smaller cuts that we hope will not affect ridership as much as the significant cuts that they're wanting to make. One of the cuts that was actually discussed in our TPS meetings was cutting summer buses entirely or cutting double T entirely, and obviously we don't want to do that. So that being said, I think that passing this piece would be a really good option to push TPS towards making these smaller cuts, several of these smaller cuts, rather than an extremely significant cut.
Thank you, Senator Gaitonde. Is there any other debate on the floor? Senator Haney.
Yeah, so I just kind of want to reiterate that even though the survey did have 586 responses, that is not representative of the entire Texas Tech student body population. We heard from the IT department that we have 40,969 students enrolled. If 500, less than 600 of them say that they are like okay with the current situation, that's still tens of thousands of people that we aren't adequately hearing from and expressing their vested interests and desires.
Thank you, Senator Haney. Senator Ramirez, and then we will proceed to Senator Webb.
I move previous question.
It's been moved to previous questions. We will need 5 seconds. Senator Bentley, Senator Clark, Senator Joyce, Senator Javid, and Senator Lamb. This motion is undebatable, unamendable, and requires a majority vote. All those in favor of moving to previous question?
Point of order. Does this require a 4/5 majority vote or just a majority?
I think it's 2/3 actually. Sorry about that. 2/3 majority vote. All those in favor of forcing the vote on the piece and ending debate, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed and would like to continue debating, please say nay. Ayes have it. The rules will be suspended. Back to the vote on the piece.
Mr. President, I move to send Senate Resolution 60.41 to third reading and final passage.
It's been moved. It's already been done. We will proceed to vote on the piece. Thank you, Senator Farrar. Senator Baker, come up here, chill, please. Thank you. Are we going to replace batteries, or are we going to? Please remain quiet in the chamber. with more than a failing percentage, motion fails. Up next on our agenda will be Senate, sorry, I lost my place. Will be Senate Resolution 60.42. Senator Agarwal.
Mr. President, I rise to reintroduce Senate Resolution 60.42, stating Central Student Senate regarding the implementation of an online portal displaying an outdoor student center's rental inventory. May I have rights voting?
You may. Thank you, Senator Agarwal.
Hello, everyone. I know this has been long, so hopefully this isn't as long a debate. We'll see. So as I stated up there, this is here to reintroduce Senate Resolution 60.42, which is really looking for the creation of an online portal to display the rental inventory of our Outdoor Pursuit Center. As Senator Griffin discussed at a previous Senate meeting, the Outdoor Pursuit Center offers a wide range of recreational equipment to either purchase or rent at prices much lower than private counterparts. Their items include, but are not limited to, backpacks, tents, skis, blah, 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 other stuff too. However, there is not really a way to know of the availability of these items besides visiting the Outdoor Pursuit Center during their hours of business, which are simply 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on weekdays. As such, there is an unintentional barrier which may stop students from taking these outdoor trips and renting this equipment. We believe that a more effective way to display this information would be through the creation of a portal which would display their stock in real time. Hopefully this would help reduce waiting times, increase the usage of the rental equipment, promote a more active lifestyle, and also increase revenue at the rec center. Our discussion with Eric Mackey, the managing director, has shown that they are in favor of this idea, and they are currently conducting preliminary conversations about this portal, so we have support there. As a result, I would like to ask for everyone's support in this endeavor. With that, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.42 on third reading and final passage.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Ramirez to place Senate Resolution 60.42 on third reading and final passage. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate on the floor? Hearing none, we will now proceed to vote. Please use your clicker to vote in the polls. Forty-four senators in favor. Motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be Senate Resolution 60.43. Senator Heath.
Mr. President, I rise to reintroduce Senate Resolution 60.43, stating the sentiments of the Student Senate regarding the ending of rate ride services after midnight every day. May I have to post this again?
Yes, you may.
Hi, everyone. So this piece is just talking about Rate or Ride. Rate or Ride has had some issues the past few years that we are hoping to address with this legislation. Specifically, after the midnight hour, Rate or Ride is significantly underutilized with low ridership for most hours. So just doing a little bit of ending Rate or Ride after midnight will result in an overall net benefit to students because of the very limited impact that it has and the amount of money that doing so saves. Very few individuals will be affected by this change, and it saves TPS a significant amount of money to address the projected $645,000 budget deficit. In addition, please remember that not all cuts passed tonight will be implemented. These are merely a compilation of the best cuts we have that we, the TPS Advisory Committee, have decided on. And so we do really appreciate the debate that we're having tonight because that is helping us gauge, the student sentiments on all the different pieces. And so we're not going to pass all of them, we're not going to implement all of them, but we would like to pass the ones that we feel the best about. And the reality is that cuts will happen, and we're just trying to ensure by passing these pieces that the cuts will net benefit the student body, and we won't hurt ridership, we won't hurt the transportation overall. So with that, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.43 on third reading and final passage.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Gaitunde to send Senate Resolution 60.43 to third reading and final passage. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate on the floor? Senator Ramirez.
Good evening, party people. So I want to rise in opposition. I want to start by saying that I myself am coming driver for Radar Ride. I work tonight, 8 p.m. technically to 3 a.m. I want to preface this by saying this isn't for my own good. I would love to go home at midnight. I want to stay there till 3 a.m. However, I can say from my personal experience that this could have a negative effect towards students on our campus. After getting an email from TPS, I learned that 11% of rides since the beginning of the semester to the night of October 23rd, 11% of rides in that time happen between midnight and 2:45 a.m. when the ride service ends. 80% of these rides are going towards the Ranching Heritage Center. So this would negatively affect graduate students and international students who are staying up late at the library, who are coming from engineering key, two of the places I have to go to the most. They want to go home. They're here in this country doing what they want to do to learn and to study, and after taking the service away from them at 12 a.m., they would be forced to walk all that way to that area at that time, which is a big safety risk for them. Additionally, another idea would be, they can use Uber. Uber costs extra money, and the Radar Ride service is included within our student fees, and it's a free service for these students to use. Additionally, if we look at the 2023 Clarity Report, we can learn that there are 46 total physical crimes committed on campus and 49 reported instances of stalking. So Radar Ride can be argued to be a very vital and pivotal safety feature for students on campus wanting to go from one dorm to another, wanting to go from one place on campus to another. I myself, a few weeks ago, gave a ride to a young lady going from the Flint parking garage to Stangle Murdo at 1:30 in the morning. Are we going to tell her that her safety isn't worth the extra money it is to continue this service for this time frame? Are we going to tell international students that they have to end their studies on campus early, or else have to be forced to walk in the middle of the night, such as tonight, where it's going to be cold and begin raining at 12 p.m., scattered thunderstorms, to 2:30 p.m., I believe, severe thunderstorms. A.M. I tried that wrong time.
You're okay. Thank you, Senator Ramirez.
I want to further add on a very fun quote I heard. I cannot explicitly quote the person said because I forgot where I got it from. But it rhymed, I really like it. Balance accessibility with fiscal responsibility. Someone said it around here, and I love that quote. So that's why I would also like to propose an amendment.
Senator Ramirez, go ahead.
So with that amendment, the purpose of the amendment would be to instead of completely integrate Radar service.
He still says I need to move.
Can you say I move?
I move to amend.
I move to amend.
Thank you.
Well, point of purpose, can I explain what the amendment does before making the amendment?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the point of the amendment I'm about to make is instead of completely disbanding the Radar Ride service after midnight, we instead limit down the Radar Ride service to one driver for the evening, thus being that balance between fiscal responsibility and accessibility for students. So I amend to, in line 1, strike ending to reducing.
Please follow along in your packets, or if you do not have, sorry, it may not be in your packets, but please do your best to follow along.
I would then move to strike lines 25 to 27 and replace it with the following. Whereas, reducing the Radar Ride service to one driver after midnight to 2:45 a.m. will reduce operating costs while continuing to keep the service available for students at night. And lastly, I would like to strike lines 29 to 30 and replace it with the following. Therefore, be it resolved that the Student Senate of Texas Tech University support reducing Radar Ride services to one driver after 12 a.m. on all days it operates.
Thank you, Senator Ramirez. It has been moved and seconded by Senator Gutierrez to amend the piece by striking on line 1, strike ending, and replace with reducing. On lines 25 and 27, strike those and replace with whereas reducing the Radar Ride service to one driver after midnight to 2:45 a.m. will reduce operating costs while continuing to keep the service available for students at night. And the next part of that will be to strike lines 29 and 30 and replace it with, therefore be it resolved that the Student Senate of Texas Tech University supports reducing Radar Ride services to one driver after 12 a.m. on all days it operates. This motion is debatable, amendable to the second degree, and requires a majority vote. As a reminder, we are not voting on the piece. We are looking solely at the amendment. And please keep all debate relevant to the amendment alone, or you will be point of order. Senator Heath, you have the right to first response. You can yield your time to one of your fellow senators as well.
I'm going to yield to Senator Gaitonde.
Senator Gaitonde.
For point of order, Matthew Ramirez does have right to first debate as he's the maker of the motion to amend.
Senator Ramirez, and then we will proceed to Senator Gaitonde. Thank you, Senator Clark.
As I previously stated to the chamber, the Rate Right service is a pivotal part of campus safety for our students who choose to use it, and ending it completely would do those things. So this amendment helps to create a way in which we can balance our budget and help with those fiscal cuts while continuing to operate the service and allow students to return to their homes safely at night on campus.
Thank you, Senator Ramirez. Senator Gaitonde, please keep your debate relevant to the amendment.
Yes. First, I'd like to thank Senator Ramirez for his passion with this. I did speak with him earlier about this amendment, and I do rise in favor of it. It is striking a good balance, I feel, between maintaining fiscal responsibility and our responsibility to our students. And I did speak with him earlier about this, and I do support it. However, I would ask the Senate to keep in mind that while this still, with this amendment, this would still reduce operating costs, it wouldn't reduce operating costs as much as the previous original piece. So I asked them to keep that in mind when looking at the future pieces.
Thank you, Senator Gaitonde. Is there any other debate on the floor? Senator Heath, did you want to respond?
Yes, please. Thank you,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
President. So I am definitely agreeable to that amendment, and I thank you, Senator Ramirez, for introducing that to the floor. I think that is a good balance between responsibility and our fiscal spending, and I think that would balance our student safety with the money that we're spending on Rate a Ride.
Thank you, Senator Heath. Senator Tippin.
I agree with Matthew. The only thing I disagree on is I think during the weekends, maybe Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, or even Friday and Saturday, we should have multiple drivers available, because I know as a freshman at Tech, I used Rate a Ride very frequently to go between friends' dorms late in the night. This is a really important thing that I think we need to keep because of the issue of drunk driving on campus. That's a huge issue. I know we have had people in our sorority die from drunk driving accidents. I know friends and family who've experienced that, and this is the ability for that to not happen and for Texas Tech to do something to reduce that. And so only having one driver available on a Friday night just kind of seems a little bit ridiculous to me, because I know multiple people are needing that, and we're able to do something to prevent such a huge issue that happens on college campuses.
Thank you, Senator Tippin. If you would like to amend the piece, you may. Other than that, we will be moving on to any other further debate. Is there any other further debate on the floor? Senator Stovall.
Just a quick question for Senator Heath. I noticed on Carter Aird's presentation earlier, the Rate a Ride service doubled in, it looked like it near doubled in price point between, or operating cost between last year and this year. Is there a reason behind that at all?
Yeah, I was actually going to talk about that a little bit more after we get through the amendment.
Okay.
Yes, let's keep all debate relevant to the amendment. You
That's
can
a-
re-ask your question once we move past the amendment. Thank you, Senator Stovall. Up next, any other debate on the floor? Okay, we will now proceed to vote on the amendment. As a reminder, this motion is debatable. It's amendable to the second degree, meaning it can be amended one more time, and it requires a majority vote. All those in favor of the amendment, actually, do we have a thing?
No, can we rise?
Okay. Yes, okay, so those in favor of the amendment, please rise. Senator. Okay,
Okay, but if you're opposing.
okay. Listen to A-Rock, she got it.
Okay, now, if you're opposed, please stand.
Okay, amendment passes as read. Again, this will be made available in the minutes, and it will also be made available at the end of this meeting. If you have any questions regarding the amendment, please proceed to find me after this. Okay, now we'll proceed to vote on the piece. with the amendments. So since it is on third reading, it is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. All those in favor? Is there any debate on the floor? Senator Scoble, there we go. Thank you.
I'll ask that same question about why such a large increase in operating costs.
Yeah, thank you for that question. That's actually
Please
a really
remain
good
standing, Senator
question.
Scoble.
My apologies.
So, in our 3 meetings with TPS, we discussed why we're having issues with rate or ride. And we're not looking to completely get rid of the ability to get home safe. That's something that we want to continue, but we want to potentially find different methods of doing so. We want to find different ways of doing it. One method that we talked about is Uber vouchers. But the reason that rate or ride costs have doubled is because the vehicles are Texas Tech owned. They're old and they're breaking down constantly. Last year they broke down, I don't know how many times, but it was enough to double the cost from previous years. They're constantly in maintenance, they're constantly needing serviced. And so that really was one of the things that drove the cost of rate or ride up to an unaffordable level. But,
Thank you, Senator Heath. Senator Scoble, did you have a follow-up?
Is there a reason why the price point is staying the same for your fall as well, and not like going back down, and then just buy some new vans or something?
That's also really unaffordable, considering the budget that's allocated for rate or ride is about $250,000 a year. Most of that does go to employee wages, and they only have a certain amount allocated for vehicles. They are looking into the possibility of renting, but that would be something that takes a little bit more time. But we did ask them actually that same question, like what about buying new vehicles, and that was that's unaffordable because that's over half the budget in a given year to purchase 3 new vehicles, so that wouldn't be something affordable for TPS right now, especially considering the $645,000 budget deficit. But thank you for your questions.
Thank you, Senator Scoble. Any other debate on the floor? Senator Villarreal Duarte Boyer.
Yes, my question is...
Please, oh, thank you, sorry.
My question is, why weren't rank and file senators sent either the budget or reports from the committee if we've been asked to vote on changing service? This is second reading, so this is before first reading.
Yeah. So we're showing it now. We did at the end of last meeting. We asked anybody who had any questions about budget or anything at all related to the TPS pieces to come up to us to email us. We did actually receive some emails. One of them was from Senator Ramirez, and we appreciate you all reaching out. But we did provide the opportunity to inquire more about that.
Thank you, Senator Boyer. Senator Gaitonde.
I'd also like to mention that
Please stand.
Oh, sorry. I'd also like to mention that I believe the TPS meeting minutes were publicized via the external budget president.
Thank you, Senator Gaitonde. Any other debate on the floor? Hearing none, we will now proceed to vote on the piece with the amendments that were approved as of 5 minutes ago. Thank you, Senator Closey. Trying my hardest.
That's not working. Can you just keep record?
Yeah, you need to be speaking.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry guys, I don't know what's up for.
37 senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be Senate Resolution 60.44. Senator Heath.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.44, stating the sentiments of the Student Senate regarding an increase of the student transportation fee. May I proceed?
You may.
Thank you. So the last time the student transportation fee was increased was in fiscal year 2014. So it's been over 10 years since this fee was last increased. Right now, this year, TPS is operating $400,000 over budget. That is made possible by a reserve fund that they kept for situations like this. Next year, they're projected to be $645,000 over budget, mainly due to a renegotiation of contract with City Bus, who raised bus rates by a substantial amount, enough to boost that to, up $245,000. And so That surplus that funded this year is not going to fund next year or any year after that. So to address this, we started by researching and targeting cuts to make to specific routes that have limited impacts on students. And so after doing so, only after, we're looking at doing a minimal fee increase. Our fee increase is actually really small. It's only $1.75 per credit hour increase, with a maximum increase per semester of $9 per student. So each student would be paying at maximum, if this were to be the level that TPS raised rates by, would be $9 increase. So this is relatively minimal considering the amount of services that TPS provides to the student body. And we are only doing this after we've looked at these smaller cuts to save. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.44 on third reading and final passage.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Armitage to place Senate Resolution 60.44 on third reading and final passage. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate on the floor? Senator Auer, you have the right to first debate, and then Senator Heath, you have the right to first response.
Mr. President, I move to amend Senate Resolution 60.44 by changing bin increase to change in line 24.
One more time for our journal, please, if you will.
To amend Resolution 60.44 by changing bin increased to changed in line 24.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded by Senator Joyce to amend Senate Resolution 60.44 by striking out the words "been increased" on line 24 with and inserting the word "change." This motion is debatable, amendable to the second degree, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate on the floor? Senator Auer.
I just want to clarify why we're amending this piece after speaking with Diego this morning. This is just reflecting the wording of this piece, is not changing it. Back in 2014, they decreased the fee, so saying been increased is not truly grasping what's happening with this.
Thank you, Senator Auer. Is there any other debate on the floor? We will now proceed to vote on the amendment. All those in favor of passing the amendment as given, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Amendment passes. We will now proceed to vote on the piece. It is debatable, amendable, requires a majority vote. Senator Joyce.
Just a point of parliamentary inquiry. Do you know why the first fee piece was a concurrent resolution and this one is just a regular resolution?
Yes, I can actually answer on that. So it was left up to discretion on, it's something to do with the statutory limits. So to give you a little bit of background on that, the state requires through the education code a various fees to pass with consent of the student body and some without. So through our meetings with Noel Sloan, the CFO of the university, we were given the green light to go ahead and pass this as like just a resolution. The availability to poll students through a concurrent resolution and bring this to the student body is still available. However, we were informed by Noel Sloan, the CFO, that for this piece in specific, due to some Austin, Texas, state of Texas jargon, that it will not be due to like some statutory limits. But if we are looking to, in some capacity, pass a concurrent resolution and then bring this transportation fee increase to the students, we can, and that's opportunities that we can explore as well. Thank you, Senator Joyce. Any other debate on the floor? We will now proceed to vote on the piece. Debatable, amendable, that requires a majority vote. Senators in favor, motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be Senate Resolution 60.45. Senator Bijou.
Mr. President, I rise to introduce Senate Resolution 60.45, taking sentiments of the Student Senate regarding the decreasing of the volume of buses after 6 p.m. Mondays and Fridays to improve the overall quality of services. May I assert the proposal?
You may. Thank you, Senator Bijou.
Hello everyone. So this is the last transportation piece for this evening. As a reminder, these pieces offer TPS a range of solutions for addressing transportation needs while also reflecting the priorities of our students. With the projected deficit of $654,000, TPS will be making budget cuts in the near future. The proposals shared tonight highlight our students' perspectives and may help avoid more drastic changes by TPS that they have in mind. So this piece, 60.45, offers a balanced solution of reducing bus routes between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. on weekdays. According to a recent transportation survey, a majority of students do not use bus services during this time. This proposal suggests reducing the number of buses running during this low demand period of time. With that, Mr. President, I move to place Senate Resolution 60.45 onto third reading and final passage.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Minucci to place Senate Resolution 60.45 on third reading and final passage. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate on the floor? Senator Haney. Senator Bijou, you will have the right to first response.
Yeah, so being a student in the College of Arts and Sciences, there are a couple of labs that don't end until 6:50 p.m. On weekdays, as well as scheduled exams that don't begin until 7 and end at 9 p.m. And so students that are in these labs and are taking these exams rely heavily on the bus service to get home after these labs and classes.
Thank you, Senator Haney. Senator Bijou, you have the right to first response.
That was a great point. So this resolution is specifically reducing the number of buses that are run. It's not cutting them.
Senator Heath.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Senator, for bringing that point up. I would like to make the point that that actually will not be affected because those labs end at 9 p.m. and those tests end between 8 and 9 p.m. Bus service right now stops at 7 p.m. So bus service has never, will never service students getting out of late labs and late tests. Also, City Bus does track the people movement and the ridership on those buses, and they have fully supported us reducing the number of buses after 6 p.m. because the numbers of all riders ever to ride the bus this last year showed that after 6 p.m. buses are severely underutilized. This cut will not affect very many students who will have a very limited impact on busing services, and even to the point of tests and labs. Bus services have never and will never service students getting out of late labs and late tests, and so our reduction of service after 6 p.m. won't affect that.
Thank you, Senator Heath. Senator Scoble, is there another motion to entertain the first year's dismissal being up? We've now been meeting 2 hours.
I got a motion to allow our first year's leave, give them another opportunity to go.
Thank you, Senator Scoble. First years, you are welcome to leave the meeting if you so desire. Thank you, first years. We will now continue with debate. Please quiet down. Senator Repetto.
I just have a quick question. By saying reducing, by how many buses are we talking about?
Senator Bijou, if you'd like to clarify.
I don't have a number on that.
Senator Gaitonde.
So the actual number is left up
Senator
to
Gaitonde, point of order. Please direct your debate to Mr. Chair.
I apologize, it's been a long meeting. So that is actually left up to the discretion of TPS to determine how many, because there are a lot of different routes that are running. So they might choose to kind of alter the number of buses that get reduced between each route depending on the ridership that they have. But they have the discretion to make those cuts depending on the data that they gather with City Bus.
Thank you, Senator Gaitonde. Senator Gutierrez.
I'm kind of going against this just because you saying that not a lot of students are going to be affected by it, and only some of the students use buses at certain times. None of us know if any of those students are the ones that need those buses at that time the most. So I say that, keep that in mind when you're also listening to everyone's opinions.
Senator Heath, this will be your last response.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for those points during debate. We aren't cutting services, we're just reducing it, and TPS, they have all the data from the past years. They know when and where every single rider will be, and so they really do have the best interest of the students in mind, and so they will only make these cuts if they believe that a very limited number of students, if any, will be affected. And so to the point that students may just not receive bus services, that's not entirely true because we're only reducing the number of services. And so the maximum impact that this would have, if any, would be a student would have to wait an extra 10 minutes. And so that's really the only impact that this piece would have. It's just an extra 10 minutes waiting at a stop for a bus to come and pick them up.
Thank you, Senator Heath. Is there any other debate on the floor? Senator Baker.
I have a
for a question. If this year we reduce the number of buses that are on the routes because this year they're not as used, what if next year more students need them? So that's why I think we should take into consideration that just because people are on campus right now, so it's easier for them to walk places, what if they live off campus and they don't have a car, or their friends or their family can't pick them up, what are they going to do then?
Thank you, Senator Baker. Senator Gaitunde, this will be your last response.
So just to answer that point, every year they will take their ridership into account, and they can alter the bus routes based on that time. Actually, one of their new initiatives that I believe will be starting in the upcoming year is getting automated people counters for their buses to actually have extremely accurate and reliable data as for the stop-to-stop ridership that they have for each bus route. So with that, they would actually be more equipped than us to decide on the certain cuts or certain reductions to be made in ridership in bus routes after 6 p.m.
Senator Heath, I apologize. I counted you short. One ability to stand. It was a point of order and not a point of debate. If you want to stand and debate again, you may. And same with Senator Gaitunde. You'll still have one stand remaining. We will proceed with Senators Tippin, and then we will move to Senator Scoble. Please stand, Senator Tippin.
Sorry. I rise to go to the original question. Previous question.
It's been moved and seconded by Senators Webb, Senators Bentley, Senators Heath, Senator Baker, and Senator Cristanelli to move to previous question. This motion is undebatable, unamendable, and requires a 2/3 majority vote. All those in favor of forcing the vote on the piece and moving to previous question, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. We will now vote on the piece. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Please use your clicker to vote in the poll. Thirty senators in favor. Motion passes. Up next on our agenda will be okay. Orderly, if you are presenting a piece on the consent calendar, please line up by the podium in the numeric order of your piece. As a reminder, these pieces must pass by 100%. If you have any reason at all to vote team no on these pieces, please say so. Senators, please remain quiet in the chamber. Senate Resolution 60.65.
Hi everyone. Okay, I'm Sabrina Minucci.
Senators, please quiet down.
I'm a senator for the Rawls College of Business, and I wrote this piece to congratulate McKinley Underwood for winning and being crowned homecoming queen at our last home game against Baylor University. And so that's pretty much it.
Thank you. You may find your seat. Senate Resolution 60.66.
Hello everyone, my name is Stuart and I'm the Senator for the College of Arts and Sciences. I just wrote this Senate Resolution 60.66 to recognize two outstanding students of the College of Arts and Sciences, Camille Hernandez and Anika Selam, for their achievements at the 59th Annual National Collegiate Honors Council Conference held on October 30th until November 3rd in Kansas City. Camille Hernandez received first place in the Social and Behavioral Sciences category for her project titled Raise a Glass, Mind the Motives, Unveiling Drinking Profiles in U.S. Adults. And Anika won second place in her project Metabolic Rewiring by ADMA and Breast Cancer. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Kepi. Senator Iden, Senate Resolution 60.67.
Hi again. So this piece is congratulating the 2023-2024 Texas Tech College Panhellenic Executive Board on completing their term on their executive board. They've shown a strong commitment in supporting and uplifting the 12 Panhellenic chapters and the women who lead them. So with that, I would like to congratulate Abby Rose, Vivian Pfister, Sabrina Metzler, Juliet Nego, Jaden Riley, Mandy Kosmak, Riley Weaver, and Delaney Mooney on completing their term on the Texas Tech College Panhellenic Executive Board.
Thank you, Senator Iden. Up next, Senate Resolution 60.68, Senator Clark.
Senate Resolution 60.68 is congratulating Tate Hutchison, representing Sigma Chi Upsilon New Chapter, for being awarded Texas Tech University 2024 Homecoming King. He is a senior kinesiology major with a minor in sports medicine within the College of Arts and Sciences at Texas Tech University. So with that being said, that the Student Senate of Texas Tech congratulate him for his accomplishment.
Thank you, Senator Clark. Up next, Senate Resolution 60.69, Senator Webb.
Yeah, so as y'all know, Texas Tech beat the Iowa State Cyclones with that. That is our 6th win, meaning Texas Tech's football team is entitled to a bowl game, so they're guaranteed under NCAA statutes to go to a bowl game. So just congratulating the Red Raiders on being entitled to the postseason and wishing them luck going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Webb. Up next, Senate Resolution 60.70, Senator Villarreal Duarte Boyer.
Thank you. I'll be speaking for 7071 since I wrote both of them to save time. Basically, the School of Theater and Dance are doing great things, even though we're the smallest traditional college. My bad. Visual Performing Arts. It's just not theater. Gotta remember that. However, they put on great plays, such as Plays on Tap, which teaches about the dangers of excessive drinking, and also Antelope Party, which is a pretty nice play from the past 10 years. So definitely wanted to give them a shout out and really highlight the many students involved.
Thank you, Senator Villarreal Duarte Boyer. Up next, Senate Resolution 60.72, Senator Bergeron.
Hi guys, this piece is just to congratulate the Texas Gamma chapter of Pi Beta Phi being named the 2023 Balfour Cup recipient. This is the highest honor for any Pi Beta Phi chapter in the nation, and this is just to congratulate our chapter here at Texas Tech for winning that honor.
Thank you, Senator Bergeron. Senate Resolution 60.73, Senator Ozioma.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This piece is just to congratulate wonderful Texas Tech University faculty, Dr. Fernando Val, Dr. Lane Grindex, Dr. Wilbertine, Dr. Deline, Dr. Brazil for receiving the 1,149,297.39 from the Department of Education to serve the needs for bilingual education teachers, candidates through targeted recruitment and selection of Spanish trilingual teachers and candidates. So this is just like kind of to thank them and congratulate them for the wonderful and prestigious award they just won. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ozioma. Up next, Senate Resolution 60.74, Senator Moreno.
I would like to congratulate Dr. Rebecca Hyatt and Dr. Childers. They have received $1.4 million from the National Science Foundation. And with this amount of money, they're able to attract high-quality, diverse STEM undergraduate students, create pathways for community college students to earn a STEM degree and to get a teacher certification. And this is also to help out with the retention of 27 recipients as mathematics teachers. With Dr. Hyatt and Dr. Childers, with the College of Education, they're able to launch a Center for Advocacy and Teacher Leadership for Youth in Schools with Technology. So just want to say congratulations to those two and hope for the best.
Thank you, Senator Moreno. Up next, Senate Resolution 60.75, Senator Clary.
This piece congratulates running back Taj Brooks on the significant milestone of surpassing 4,000 career rushing yards, and it just commends him for his hard work and dedication to Texas Tech, both on and off the field. Mr. President, I move to place 60.65 through 60.75 on third reading and final passage.
It's been moved and seconded by Senator Davis to move Senate Resolution 60.65 through 60.75 on third reading and final passage. As a reminder, these motions must pass with 100% in favor. If you have any reason to vote no, please say so now. Other than that, these motions are undebatable, unamendable, and require a majority, or sorry, not a majority vote, they require a 100% vote. All those in favor, just kidding, use the poll. With 100% in favor, consent calendar passes. Up next on our agenda are announcements. Any member of the Student Government Association may make relevant announcements to the chamber at this time. If you wish to address the Senate, please stand for recognition from the chair. Mrs. Rocky.
Okay. I have a couple. If your clicker wasn't working, I really need you guys to come up to me after to give me your votes. We have to be transparent as possible, and we need to record those votes. So please come give me your votes, because I've gotten none after I said that the past couple meetings. If you're sending a mail stop to a student, please try to add their address in there. It's getting really hard for me to keep track of all of these addresses. I'm emailing students, but they're not responding to me because they think I'm sending them something that's going to harm them probably. So please, if you have a mail stop and you're sending a piece to a student, please try to reach out and get that address so that we can send them their piece.
As an extension of that, we can, if due back to popular demand, all of y'all have a cubby in the SGA office. If you would like to begin using the cubbies, if you mail a piece to a certain student, what we can do now is we can put it in your cubby, and then you will be responsible for giving it to your fellow students who you sent it to. We can also do that as well. I think that would be of interest to y'all. To save our journal clerks some work.
That is all I have.
Okay, and then I had a few announcements as well. Thank you all for a wonderful meeting. I actually had a great time. This is what the true power sorry, y'all. This is what the true power of the Student Government Association Senate looks like. I haven't seen a Senate like this in about something actually relevant. Sometimes we get caught in stupid things here. And I think this is a true testament to the power and the influence that the Student Senate has. I commend you all on your hard work. I really appreciate all the patience today, all the willingness to debate and really discuss things that are of importance and of relevance to the students. It's really rejuvenating on my part to see a committed Student Senate. Super exciting to see that. I challenge y'all as the remainder of the year goes on, this semester and next semester, to take every meeting as intentionally as today was taken. This is a true power, this is a true testament to what we can do in this chamber, and everything that has been done today is going to go to TPS, and it's going to help continue our discussions with TPS on how we can genuinely better serve our students. So thank you, everybody. I just wanted to say one big round of applause for everybody here. And then lastly, if you had any questions regarding any data on the TPS pieces and you would like to sit in on meetings with TPS that we will be having in the future, please feel free to reach out to Carter Garrett. He is leading, we'll call him the transportation czar, if you will. So he's leading that, and he's been super diligent on those as well. So if you'd like to sit in on any meetings, would like any further clarification, any data in specific, we have a massive binder with all of the numbers available to us. So if that's something that you're interested in, please send an email, please send a follow-up. Are there any other announcements to be made by anyone in the chamber? First years, senators in the middle, senators on the right, my officers.
Let's adjourn.
Nope. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Wait. I have one thing. Wait, I actually do.
Senator Geist-White, back to the announcements. Please
Please
stand, Senator Geist-White.
Whenever you're submitting your legislation, from an R&A perspective, we fix some grammar, spelling, punctuation. Ashton does too. So whenever you're submitting it, be super mindful of those comma ands, because there's a lot of pieces that miss.
Sorry. I
Mrs.
didn't
Rocky,
do this,
please
you guys.
stand.
Are you done? Sorry. Yeah. I hate to do this. I'm so sorry. I did have one more announcement that I said I was going to do. The 59 session template, specifically the congratulatory template, is not right. And I understand that a lot of you have access to the 59th still, but the formatting is really wrong. And so every time we get it, and I get it from RNA, I have to go in and reformat, and it takes forever. And when I'm trying to get it quickly turned around to you guys after RNA meeting for the meetings, it just takes way too long. So please use the 60th session templates. The formatting is correct on those, and it will save me so much time.
Thank you, Mrs. Rocky. Again, please be considerate of our poor journal clerk. She works her butt off every day, and every day she's fixing some grammatical errors that could have been easily checked on y'all's end. So please save our journal clerk and our RNA a little bit of work, and please double check your pieces very diligently, or if this is a continuing problem, we will just not accept pieces that are just in the wrong template. So please, for yourselves and for our officers on RNA and our journal clerk, please be considerate of them. Are there any other announcements? Senator Geiswhite, anything else to say?
Action.
Senator Gaitunde.
I move to adjourn.
No, are there any other announcements? Please stand and raise your placard. Thank you. We will now move to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn? I don't like how quick these are. Someone do it quicker. There we go. That works. Senator Closey.
I move to adjourn.
Please stand.
I move to adjourn.
It has been moved and seconded by Senator Oisioma to adjourn the 6th meeting of the 60th session. This motion is undebatable. Please do not leave the chamber. We have not adjourned. This motion is undebatable, unamendable, and requires a majority vote. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.